This video will focus on the development of learning tools, vital mental tools for learning about the environment and the links with communication. The clinical material is from working sessions with children and their parents.
Let a boat. Why?
Two boats.
Let here. Let go. Let the run.
All children have an innate capacity for learning and communication. In the early years, children explore their environment, gaining experience and understanding of their world. Eleanor is a normal child who has been learning and communicating since she was born. The foundation for her learning and communication is already established by the age of 2. Her earliest learning and communication has taken place within a warm, loving, supportive family environment.
Lovely, isn't it?
Children whose learning and communication are delayed are limited in their capacity for exploration. They have not acquired the necessary experience to develop their early learning tools. Christopher had mild encephalitis at 15 months. Matthew had severe feeding, emotional and learning problems. Rachel developed childhood spasm at 6 months. John had a primary communication problem. Helen has Down syndrome. George was emotionally disturbed. David had a disturbed family history. Paul was diagnosed autistic at 2 years. Stephen had mild cerebral palsy of the lower limbs. The learning tools are mental tools or ways of thinking and problem solving. These learning tools are used by all children cross-culturally to learn about their environment. Placing, pairing, banging, matching, sorting, drawing, sequencing, brick building. Eleanor shows how the learning tools develop. At 5 months, she is picking up and placing, developing the earliest learning tool. By 6 months, Eleanor is using more physical effort for picking up, shaking, banging, and pairing things. By 7 months, Eleanor is sitting up unaided and chooses to pick up the man from the car. By 10 months, Eleanor is crawling and extending her exploration. She plays with the rings on the stick for the first time. No one is telling her what to do. She is attentive and concentrates with pleasure. For her, work and play are synonymous. She has been babbling for some months, but when she is concentrating like this, she is quiet. At 14 months, Eleanor is walking. She is sorting the man from the other objects and deliberately puts it in the car. Eleanor is now 2 years old. Her communication is dependent on her early learning experiences. She talks as she plays.
Let a boat. Let a boat. Why?
Two boats.
Let here. Let go. Let the run. Let the pig. Let go out. Let the pig.
She uses toys symbolically. Her play and learning are flexible and express her own ideas. Her communication reflects social and cultural demands. Her learning tools will now be consolidated for future learning. Young developmentally delayed children don't work or play. They are not self-motivated, attentive, happy or successful. Their behavior is bewildering. Their development has been delayed for many reasons. Down syndrome, childhood spasm, cerebral palsy, encephalitis, language delay, autism, emotional trauma. All developmentally delayed children need a facilitating environment to develop their learning tools. We use bricks and buckets for placing. There are hammers and sticks for banging and scraping. Objects for pairing and matching. A wide variety of objects for sorting. There are problem-solving games. For concept work, there are matching, sorting, and sequencing cards. These are all materials that can be collected by parents. After working under our guidance, parents can carry out a daily intensive program for their own child at home. Christopher had encephalitis when he was 15 months old. He stopped communicating and learning. He was running wild. His parents are helping him settle down, placing bricks in the bucket. They also use the bricks for pairing. Months later, after a lot of practice, Christopher is placing the bricks himself, learning like Eleanor.
Pat cake, baker's man. Make me your cake as fast as you can. Prick it and pat it and mark with a C. And
he is banging purposefully. The daily sessions with his parents have helped develop his early learning tools.
No, one of each hand. Come on, there we are. Ready? Bum, 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 bum.
4-year-old Helen has Down syndrome. For her first 3 years, she had very little stimulation because of her heart and breathing problems. When she first came for therapy, her communication was very limited. She was picking up and placing. After 6 months of early learning activities, there is a dramatic change. She can now use the pairing tool competently herself. She loves to work. She is sorting objects and cards.
This one. This one. One.
18 months later, Helen is matching using her pointing finger. Rachel was diagnosed at 6 months with childhood spasm. The focus of her first 3 years was physical treatment. At 3, she was severely delayed, confused, and using only a few words repetitively. 6 months into therapy, Rachel is placing, initiating, using effort, and beginning to problem solve. One year later, Rachel is matching cards, but still needs guidance because of her spatial problems. She is attentive and concentrates longer. With increased understanding, she is sorting concept cards. She can hold a pencil to draw lines with help. After 2.5 years of therapeutic intervention, she works confidently, and her learning tools are well developed.
White.
Communication and learning are inseparable. As children develop their learning tools, they extend their experience and understanding. This is fundamental to the development of communication for all children.
Oh, look at me.
There's the bottle. There's the bottle. There. Bottle. Christopher say, where's the bottle? There's the bottle and there's the bottle. There's the bottle and there's the bottle. Good boy. Put the bottle back. Bottle
Development of learning tools is fundamental to our intensive therapeutic program. The children's learning, communication and behavior become appropriate. Parents and children can now respond to each other.
There's a mini bus.
Yes.
That's you.
That's
That's me.
yes, darling.
That's me.
Mm.
That's Katrin.
Yes. So your friends.
To glue. Do I need to?
Go on. Going back in the box. Going it up to
Whose turn is
Only
it?
got two, haven't I? Whose turn is it now?
Whose turn?
Whose turn is it now? After Daddy it's...
it's Mama's turn.
Thank you.
Sit down. Do you work?
Get you.
Do you work?
Daddy, what's that?
That's a knit, Michael. Do you work?
Daddy, I get